Welcome to Doing the Work podcast, the podcast for advanced Dr. Joe Dispenza students to gather together to discuss, explore, and learn as we forge the river of change. I am Amanda, and along with my co-host, Lorelei, we are grateful to have your time and attention for the next 45 minutes. Today, our guest is Manny, and Lorelei and I have known Manny for a couple years now, and we are excited for you to get to know him and his beautiful heart. As usual, before we dive in, let's take a few moments to center in and connect with our hearts. Lorelei, could you lead us in that?
Of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Lorelei. It's such an honor to be here with Amanda and with Manny and with all of you. So let us take a deep breath and drop our awareness into our hearts, our fourth center, our center of love and creativity and connection. And with every breath out, send that awareness to each one of your cells, all the way to the edges of your skin. And as we draw in the knowledge that we are all part of the field, we are all connected, we are the field. Let's allow that knowledge to expand further, the space around us, and further still, connecting our hearts to our universe and to each other. As I, Lorelei, link my heart to Manny, would link Manny's heart to Amanda and back to me, forming this bubble of love and connection and expanding it further to you all listening. With our deep intention to be connected, to learn from each other, to amplify like infinite mirrors our love and our connection, our desire to learn from each other and strengthen the ties of our community, reverberating further and further into the world, being the change that we want to see. And with the last deep breath in, we draw this awareness to our fifth center. May we express ourselves to the highest level of our knowledge. And we draw it in to our sixth center behind our eyes as we're getting ready to open our eyes and see the world through this new lens of awareness, of consciousness, with more love and more clarity. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lorelei.
Thank you.
And thank you, Manny, for joining us. We're so excited to have this time with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. That's really a privilege to be here with you all, with your big hearts.
Oh, thank you. So as we begin, could you give us a quick story about your journey into Dr. Joe's work and share with us what elements of Dr. Joe's model of understanding spoke to you and intrigued you the most?
Yeah, I'm fairly new to meditations. I think I started in 2020 during the pandemic. Everybody was looking for something, and I just
Pandemic
slipped into something. Then, back then in the time, I did some Tony Robbins work, and we had some coaching sessions. And there was a lady I became friends later on with, and she was super Dr. Joe fan. She always talked about Dr. Joe, Dr. Joe. I had no idea what Mr. Dr. Joe is. So, and I never really gave too much to it, but every time she said, you have to listen to Dr. Joe. And well, month went actually by. Nothing really happened. We did our stuff and just got in contact back and forth every once in a while. Stayed friends online. And then one day she just called me and said, I think it was in 22. She was in Cancun. And when she came back from Cancun, she called me and just said, Manny, you have to go. You have to go to the next event. You have to go. So, okay. So that was pretty much it. I had no idea what I'm going into it or what happened. So a week long in San Diego in 22. That was my first event. So she just gave me instruction how to sign up to be on time, so to get in there easy. But she didn't tell me about anything. So she said, you just go in there, see what happens. And I was super open hearted. I just went into it, got a roommate, and I actually signed up for the research there as well.
You went all
Might as
in.
well, might as
Yeah.
well go for research. So I signed up and actually was accepted. So that was really amazing. And I had no idea what's coming. But then I went there, of course, landed in San Diego, looked around a little bit, checked in a hotel, and it was right in the beginning we had a Go Research check-in. And I just got down there, hardly any people there. Some twins were the twin studies happened there at the same time as well. So they were standing there and they just started drawing blood. And then Dr. Cho came in. It was my first contact with him, and the first eye contact. It was really very profound to just look in his eye. And I wanted to say something and I didn't dare to do it. But it was quite amazing.
I
So
love this. Like the bag ladies, Amanda and I are the Dr. Joe ladies. Dr. Joe, you have to go and see him. So it's lovely to hear somebody saying that it works. Like at some point,
yes.
somebody's gonna go. Thank you for that testament.
Yeah, when I told her later on again about I met Dr. Choi, and did you hug him? Did you hug him? Well, I don't, I had no idea. She said, you have to give him a hug. You have to get a hug from Dr. Choi. I did not know. That's how I got into it. And then, of course, from then, everything is history. It was mind blowing. The first event, I had no idea what to expect and what happened to me. But it was so life changing in a way.
Wow, that's amazing. And yes, you have to get a hug from Dr. Joe. I think that's everybody's goal. Once you figure out what's going on, like, oh, I need a hug.
I relate to Manny. This happened to me on my first event of a week long. So I went to the Progressive and I was there with 3,000 people. I'm just listening. But then I went to Niagara Falls and I saw Dr. Joe in the airport and some ladies were like, Dr. Joe. And I talked to him. I did talk to him, but I didn't get a picture and I didn't get a hug. And now if I would see him, God damn it, give me that picture. Trying to keep this kid friendly because my kids like to listen, but I'll like give me that picture.
Oh, that's funny.
So what made you, Manny, what made you say, okay, I'm gonna go? What elements of his work?
So, like I said, I had no idea about the work from him. I just took the Monica's advice. She said you have to go, and I just blindly trusted her and just went there. And of course, going through the retreats, it all resonated with me so much. It was amazing. I listen a lot to Abraham Hicks, and I always said to Dr. Joe, put the cherry on top of it, because he gives me ways to practice, get deeper, understand it from a different angle, and it resonates with you in a different way, and you can understand it in a better way. So for me, that was really profound to understand Abraham's teaching in a totally different way, in a practical way, and that I actually have more control over it than previously thought.
Yes, one of the things that Abraham Hicks says a lot is about getting used to having those good feelings. And I think Dr. Joe is teaching us, that's what resonated with me as well, the fact that you can feel the feelings whenever you want, regardless of what's happening, and also that if you keep doing it, you can get used to feeling the feelings, and perhaps getting used to feeling the bad feelings is what was the problem in the past. And
Mhm.
I think indeed there's so much correlation between different teachers. When something speaks to you, seeing it from all those different angles is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's not enough to know. It's a time to know how. I think that's how he says it. Manny, if you were going to take a snapshot about how you feel about your life and yourself in this moment in life, how would that look like? Could you give us a description now that you've been in the work for what,
Mm.
3 years
It's
now?
3 years almost now, yeah. It is the funny part is it is the cycles that you go. You know, you're on a retreat. You are flying super high, literally.
Yes.
And then you come back again. So after 4 6 weeks, then where the work starts really. So that's how I experience it, right? When the everyday catches up on you again, and then it's really where you really have to do the hard work and okay, now it's the most important because everything will catch up to you again, and then still believe that you can make a change, that you can change it, that you can create your future. So that is for me right now. Actually, I'm in a little bit of phase like this where sometimes you doubt everything, you know, in a way, but then in a way, you start doubting, is it really true? Is it really working? Is it working for me? But then on the other side, okay, I've been that. I've been there. I experienced these things. So now I have to just get myself to that point where the group and in the event, it's super easy because the energy is so big. It's like a tsunami. It just takes you with it, right? But that I'm always inspired by doing it myself. And of course, every challenge is a blessing in disguise. You just have to master it and just keep going it. And like he always says, if it's the hardest, it matters the most. And that's where another breakthrough for you can come. And that's sometimes the hardest to accept. Okay, it's not something that happens to you; it's actually happening in a way for you, because it gives you an opportunity to really go to another level.
And I think that this element of doubt came up a lot in the last few testimonials, especially. I was very moved by the testimonial of the lady that regrew part of her rectum, I think. Just literally regrew 10 centimeters of an organ that was cut off. And Dr. Joe spoke a lot about the element of doubt there, that she overcame her chronic disbelief that it could happen to her. Heard that in a few other testimonials, and I thought it was interesting because the element of self-doubt seems to be such a big mountain that once we manage to climb and see on the other side, it's just opening the floodgates, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that we discuss it too, these moments. I've been referring it more recently, my refinement moments. When I have these days where I realize there's some doubt, my belief wasn't big enough for this moment as we go through these journeys. I just realized I'm really refining my belief system in this time. I know this is just an audio recording. Manny is a very smiley and big-hearted person. So I just feel that deep. I really appreciate that.
Yes, and everybody, if you watch The Source is Within, the Source documentary, and that first retreat that Manny went to, you can see him dancing like crazy. Have a look. If you know Manny, he's there dancing. So he went to his first retreat. He wasn't sure what's gonna happen. He signed up for the research. He said, "Take my blood, everything you want." And then he was dancing. He was doing the breath. He made friends. Such an example of doing the
Oh
work.
yeah, that is amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Making so much many friends. The friend actually, I met her online only all the time, right? And after the first event in San Diego, she referred me to all her friends from there. So I left the event with at least 15 people, close contact, right? So everybody said, "Oh, you have to meet Manny, you have to meet Manny," and it took us, I think, another 2 years until we met eventually then in Marco Island. So in person, that was amazing. Yeah, so I met all her friends and so many more, and it's really unbelievable.
Well, I'm still waiting to meet you in person. Okay, so I
Mhm.
have to just take a minute. I didn't know you were in the source. I'm going to rewatch that. And I'm going to watch for you. That's hilarious.
Just a brief moment.
Well, I know, but I love catching people in
Yeah.
those moments, like freezing that frame. Like, look at you. Oh, I love
Yes.
that. Oh, we kind of talked on this a little bit.
Mhm.
So one of the major themes of our podcast is the work, and it has a really specific meaning in our community as Dr. Joe students. Could you elaborate on what the work encompasses for you and how you apply it in your day to day?
I think the biggest thing is awareness. To be aware during the day. I do it in the end of the day, reflections. How do I go through my day? It's not only just in meditations, but really the work, like you said, with the eyes open. How do I react to things? What helps me a lot is at the end of the day reflecting. Okay, because during the day you do something and then I got unconscious. But in that moment, many times you cannot change too much. You just realize it and then slowly but surely work your way again to become conscious. But you can heal it for myself. If I reflect at the end of the day or in the morning before I got to get out, what did I do last yesterday, and where did I drop it, and then how can I do it better next time? So that is for me a big thing for the work, just to reflect on it and then train your mind. How can I do it better next time if that same thing happens again? I think he talks about his children, how he taught them many times. So I remember that. And it's really very efficient because you just train your mind. Next time when it happens again, you react different to it. So that's a big thing for the work. And of course, start your day with it, with any sort of reflection, meditation, what you really want, intentions for the day.
And how has it changed who you are since you became aware of Dr. Joe?
That is really a hard question, I must say, because in a way, I think it goes so gradually, you don't really notice the changes anymore. And sometimes if I look back in journals, many times I'm not sure, but at times I journal and I look back and said, "Oh my God, this happened," and you forget about it because you gradually just grow into a different person, and you just notice it on your surroundings, I believe.
How is it affected the people around you then, you being different?
From my point of view, I'm not sure if they see it too much. Many times people think even if I struggle with something, I don't show it on the outside. So people even talk to me, "Oh my God, what are you taking? I want what you have," because I'm still bubbly and happy. Also, I'm even struggling with something. So many times I just notice on myself how I feel internally might change.
That's it. It's true. It takes some effort. I'll be honest. I didn't feel like anybody was noticing a difference for me, probably for a long time. And I think I'd been in the work 3 years, and I had moved a piece of furniture with my husband, and he said, "Oh, that was pleasant. We should do that again." And I was like, that was my first sign.
Is that what you guys do for fun? You move furniture? Oh, that was nice.
That was nice. We did something difficult
That's a snapshot
together.
in Amanda's life. She has fun moving furniture.
Apparently, I used to be really terrible moving furniture. I used to be a very unpleasant person to move furniture with.
How dare you be that kind of wife that doesn't.
Oh, but yeah, it's an interesting thing, guys, because I was like, oh, okay, that's my little tiny snapshot.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to tell what changes around me, and especially you go in your cycles. You, like I said, you go up and down and up and down. You just want to make the downs less and the spikes less, so just even it out a little bit and just grow slowly but surely. And that's part of the whole work to become better and better and more. Then of course your self doubt and you're not worthy, and then next time oh you fly. I'm not sure if it happens to you guys, but many times it happened to me. You're flying super high and you know, okay, the next day you're going to drop again. And I'm not sure where this comes from. This is really a question. Do I really instill it already in myself? But it's a pattern. So many times the higher you fly, then somehow something happens again where you drop down. And but it's in a way it's okay. I think maybe it helps any of the listeners as well if they go through that.
Amanda and I were talking about this. It does happen to us. Yes, it does. It happens all the time. And actually, I was telling Amanda, this is, for example, how I see some change in me. I have these cycles all the time. And I see that recently, they're really short. And it used to be that I would have a day or two that was really great. And then I would have 2 weeks that were terrible, and then I have 2 good days and so on, and then it would be one good day, one bad day, and now I have a great morning and a horrible evening and then I have a great morning again and then by the afternoon I am struggling again. So this is how it changed. The cycle became a lot less, and since we came back from the 5-day AFU, it's been happening more. And I believe, with no authority, but I have my opinions. So my opinion is, in this case, that is part of the old body, the old self that is fighting back. So you're feeling great, and that's your new self, that new energy. And then the old energy, that old morphic field that kept you being observed in the way you used to be, is saying, hold on, I don't want to die here, and is having one last push, one last breath. And then it depends on you whether you still identify with that old self, or whether you choose to soothe it and say it will be okay, and then go back to your new energy.
Yes, I
Yeah.
noticed it too. And also I noticed then it feels like you peel off layers, right? When you feel good and then all of a sudden, okay, now I uncovered something else that has to come up to the surface.
Yeah.
And so and that I think it's and that's nothing wrong with that. So we all have to go through that, right? Because the first thing, the initial reaction is to, oh my God, did I drop again? What do I wrong? I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy, and all this negative stuff comes. But so in I, during the time right now, I notice it's just different levels we uncover, and that's why we drop down again. I'm not sure if that's super correct or not, but it feels to me like that. Or even forgiveness, or you forgive somebody, or you had some quarrels with somebody, and you think you go on with forgiving them, and then all of a sudden something happens, has nothing to do with them, and then some old emotions come up again, where you think, oh my God, I thought I forgave them already, right? And then something else, some seed got loose again, and then you just have to work through that again and do the work again.
I've often referred to my layers too. It's very interesting. And I love when Dr. Joe reminds us to hold ourselves in compassion in these moments, because that's usually what I really need to hear. I need to hold myself in compassion and forgive myself too. I think that's a big element that I like to add in. It's a really a really fun onion to peel.
It does make you cry as well.
Yes. Thank you.
It's a little smelly.
It's a little smelly. Gosh. Oh, Lorelai. Oh, this is good.
But it's very important, like you said, Amanda. It is to do like so. You have to give grace to yourself, right? Give compassion to yourself, because especially if you notice it that something changes again, that's already a win for you. And just being aware that I dropped again, or I'm feeling high, or I'm feeling low. This is awareness. That's what Dr. Joe, I think, talks about as well. Just to be aware of what you're doing, because if you're not aware of it, you are just unconscious, right? And then give yourself grace and hey, you did it. Now you have a new start again to attack it from a different angle and go past it.
Yeah, exactly. He is very practical in that. I love that about his work too. So let's talk about the breath work. Speaking of tools, I love it. And I actually kind of like this because honestly, the breath is one of those cheat things for me sometimes. Just can't get out of my cycle. I got to do some breath work. So, Manny, I'm curious how your experience is with the breath work, how it's evolved, how it's impacted you.
Breath, it is. I did it for quite some time. Really, I think it was a couple of months in a row, every day, Inspire, the whole CD. That was intense. The funny part is I never really passed out or stuff like this. The funny part is I passed out by doing a walking meditation, just by standing there, and I just fell over.
Of all the meditations to pass out
Yes.
in.
And Manny is very tall, so it takes a lot to get him to fall down.
Yeah, so many people do, okay, the breath and you're going to pass out and stuff like this. It doesn't happen to me like that. It was a funny story because we were in Marco Island and we did Body Electric, one of my favorites, inside. And then we went out and he was talking about the breath and stuff and passing out and stuff like this. I didn't think anything about it. But when we go out then, and start the walking meditation. We're standing there, eyes closed. And I just felt all this energy coming up. The sun was right in my face. It was just, the sun came up. And I said, oh my God, where is all this energy coming from? And I said, let go. And the next thing I noticed, something hit on my head. But I noticed, I'm laying on the ground.
This is how my kids would say, it's this, the earth hit me. The ground hit me. Then I was doing nothing, just meditating, and then the ground just hit my head.
And it was so funny. And then I was laying on the ground and was really laughing. And another friend, she was actually a volunteer there. She took picture of me. She didn't catch the fall, but it was so super funny.
she took a picture instead of catching you.
Because nobody expected it, right? You just stay there, you can start your meditation, and it knocked me out for some odd reason. I didn't even do breath. That was the funny part. I didn't do any breath. It was.
It was like the first. Was it the first 5 minutes?
It was the first 5 minutes, but when I did the breath, so for quite some time, I noticed. It was strange. For some odd reason, I smelled BS. Like, I couldn't deal with people anymore. If people then started talking nonsense, right? And people talk and over exaggerate and do all that stuff, but I couldn't handle that anymore. That was so intense for me. And I'm not sure if it had anything to do with the breath, but I had to stop and then did more meditations again. So different areas of my body got energized again and I got calmer again. But it was weird when somebody said something, I sensed they were lying, right? And I couldn't take it. Usually I don't say anything about it, but I outed them and said, no, that's not true.
Wow.
So that was a weird experience when I did it so long. And then I said, okay, I have to cut down a little bit on that.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's like your antenna just got really super refined.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Do you still incorporate it then?
I do less breath work lately. Yeah, I must say it's a little less. But if I just checked one and then core body, the energy starts flowing for me already. I just have to contract it and then at the muscles, and it's already an amazing feeling. And like you said, to turn off the frontal cortex if you think too much, just do a couple of breaths and
get that little
yeah,
buzz.
yeah.
Little buzz.
And then you see the world a little easier again, and
chill out. I mean, I've never been one to take a Valium, but that's what I imagine. Oh, I remember getting I don't know what it was. It was kind of a fast acting pain medication during childbirth. Like it's just like, whoo, okay. Everything's better now. That's really interesting.
But it said woo, like you said, yeah. Oh, what is that? Yeah, you do 5 minutes of the breath, and then okay, what's going on?
So have you seen anything interesting after or during the breath? Any interesting downloads from the universe?
I think several things. I didn't have maybe just super mystical experiences. I would say I didn't have out of body experiences, but I mean, the very first one, walking meditation in San Diego, was amazing already. All of a sudden, it's another funny story actually. When at the end of the walking, it was so intense, right? You all of a sudden the heart opens so wide open. I never did a walking meditation for me before, and we went out there in the grass and walked our rounds. And at the end, we laid down, and I think the very first time I felt like it's a oneness with everything. That was so profound for me, and I thought, wow, what is going on here? So it was really totally it came out of nowhere to me because I never had an experience like that. And I was laying there and I just felt one with the whole world. And the funny part is I didn't even know how long I was laying there. When I just had my eyes open, but just looked straight up in the sky. And then when I got up again, there was nobody there anymore. Everybody was gone already, and I think I was there laying for an hour and a half, roughly. When I went back again, breakfast was gone already. Everybody was done for breakfast, was getting ready for it. And I had no idea. I was just in a blissful all-in-one state. And so that was the very first one. That was wow. And I remember back then when I went back to the hotel, I didn't want to talk to anybody. It was just, I was electric, and I went up the elevator. And when I got out of the elevator, for some reason I ducked because I thought I'm going to hit the ceiling. Then, oh my, it was really, really a quite intense experience.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. And there's several, it's always funny part is most of the time on walking meditations where I had the most experiences, most intense energy flows.
Do you want to share another fun experience with us? Another mystical experience?
There are several things. There's just little things. You don't really think they're mystical in a moment, but later on they happen. Funny things. One when we did was another body lecture or something like this. I don't know. We were laying down in a ballroom, and we did breathe in, breathe out, right? When you lay down there.
Yeah.
And I had several times this experience where I didn't know where I'm at, and I didn't feel my body at all. And I remember as a child, this happened to me many times. You know, when you had a short nap or so, and then you wake up and you had no idea where you're at. It takes you several seconds to find your way. Oh, I'm here. I just had a nap. But it was during that, every time breathe in, breathe out, I was somewhere I had no idea where I'm at. And then I got conscious about it, and then I worried about it, and then I was back in a ballroom. So this happened like 3 or 4 times during that meditation. So
wow,
I'm not sure what it is, but it was quite interesting.
Visiting another place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, thinking about it was more in a body lesson. So it's really just consciousness. And
yeah. Speaking of the mystical, how do you see the mystical? Like, how has that journey been that part of the work for you?
when talking to people, everybody wants this super mystical, colorful expression going through the universe and out of body. So I don't have that, and I think many people don't have it. I think it's more the little subtle things that happen, awareness that we should focus on. There was some, even in the ballroom, sometimes you feel like beings around you. Even when he talked about the blue beings, and there was a lady in a testimonial, she described the blue beings. And I had this feeling, I know that's exactly how they look, but I never saw one. So these are little mystical experience for me, right? Why do I know that? Why do I feel so confident about it? That's right. Exactly. That's how they look. And you feel, or in a ball, you feel a tall presence next to you. That's really where you look up and what is that presence? What is that? Who is here? Or even sometimes you sit in the car and you feel a presence outside of the window. And you look and then there's nobody here. So these are my little mystical experiences. I don't have any way how to explain it.
It sounds to me like you have really, really heightened your perceptions, your antenna, but a lot of other things, because from everything you're saying, you're just perceiving a lot more than your 3D senses. And that must be the breath, I have to say.
Time for a deep dive into Inspire, huh?
Inspire. Breath and
Yeah.
pineal gland meditation. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that too.
I like what you said, and actually that came up in our last episode a lot about the mystical in everyday life, the subtle experiences that we, have to open our awareness to and kind of allow that to be the mystical. I think that was kind of a big thing for me. I had to shift my perception a little bit. I love that.
I think it's one big thing is what he talks about the mystical. I draw from them a lot of energy. It's the unknown. The mystical is the unknown.
Exactly.
And there's so much little unknowns, right? Every time we open ourselves up to the unknown, and it's the same like you asked me about the podcast here. It was it was the first thing. Oh, it's the unknown. First thing. Oh my, what can I talk about? I don't know what to talk about it. And then I said, okay, I have to. It's the unknown. I never did it before, so okay, I have to do that. So that alone is a mystical experience, right? It's just to get that invite, and I'm really grateful for that. And hopefully it helps somebody down the line, if it's just one person, right, who can relate to it and pull something. But it's really the unknown. Just go for it and then see what it brings, because you never know where it's gonna lead you.
Yes. And how did it change you, the fact that you've been in the research? Because you went into the unknown also right from the start in a very scientific way, right? You didn't know, but you offered all your data. And then from what you're saying, you're also big on documenting and on the process. You're very much applying all of the steps and so on. I've never been part of the research. How did that influence your journey?
For me, initially was that if I'm going there already, I want to, if it helps, if I can give something he can work with and help. So that's what the initial reaction to it, just to research and get deeper into it. And I was lucky. I actually did 3 researches so far. So every time computer was lucky to pick me over and over again.
You must have some good data. The universe is like, yep.
It is just interesting when we got brain mapped and all that stuff, and you go all through this, we don't get the results, but it feels good to go through the research, to do all that and give blood. It's just be part of it, right? You give your part. There's something like doing coherence healings. You want to give back in a way. That's I think it's pretty big in the community. And if you can give data, I'm more than happy to give data. And if I can do coherence healings, I'll be part of it. I started it right away after San Diego. I have to do that. I have to stay on that path and do coherence healings and participated there. So it's really a good thing to do. And research it's just interesting to go through. I'm not sure how to say that. It was the funniest story was actually the last on a 7-day in Marco Island, the very first one, the week long, and then AFU right after it. We did the whole 10 days research, and they were drawing us so much blood. He actually talked about at the end of the retreat that we couldn't give any blood anymore. We were all sitting in there. They were tapping it. They couldn't get any blood out of us anymore.
Oh.
'Cause
Oh my gosh.
so we did morning and after in night, right? It was quite intense, and we had actually
I
with
hope
brain mapping
they fed
overnight.
you well. They gave you some
Yes,
chicken
they did.
livers or something to
Yes.
make up.
But it was so funny when he talked in on the stage, and he's super appreciated. That whole research team is so amazing. It's so much fun to work with them and Dr. Toby, and to know them. I was really blessed. One day I was sitting a whole day next to Dr. Toby. It was really amazing to have this experience.
Yeah, actually, this is kind of cool because neither Lorelai or I have ever involved ourselves in the research at an event. So that's really interesting. So you get a lot of time with the research team.
It's
Okay.
just by talking. We had for 5 days, they put a brain mapping on there. And you are in a group, you talk, and you meet so many people from research, and it's really just amazing. And then every
Wow.
once in a while, the show comes in. So it's really from that. If somebody can do it, and just apply for it. It's an experience that's worth it.
Then tell us more about what it's like to be so close to Dr. Joe. Tell us about that. I think everybody wants to know. We're Dr. Joe ladies. Dr. Joe, Dr. Joe.
It's just energizing, it's the whole energy in the room is amazing. If you feel down in a way, you get lifted up. It is just everybody is helpful. Everybody, I don't know how to say that. And then Dr. Joe just comes in, talks, and then he leaves again, right? And then it becomes normal in a way, you just see him walking in and out.
That's a plug for volunteering for the research.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe that's what you need to do, Lorelai. You can get your picture.
I have to go with my arm, my veins on display.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Oh, that's great. Did you ever get a hug, Manny, from Dr.
No,
Joe?
I never made it.
Oh, okay.
But there's a
Still
lot
time.
of people in research. Yeah, it's still time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember last time. I think 20, 30 people in research at least. So that's one thing too. I think if you wait too long, I talked to other friends. So if they are a year or so, if you're a year not to an event, it's really, you have to go again. Right? You get itchy.
Oh no, the withdrawals.
Yes.
Manny's been conditioned, like his blood system has been conditioned to.
You need another DMT hit. Oh.
Nothing like an event, just to go there and all this beautiful people you meet, and everybody is with those big hearts, open up their helps and see the transformations. It's unbelievable what's possible with the mind.
I agree. It's truly such an event. It's such a alternative to what our daily world is, to interact with thousands of people like that.
And this is what we're hoping to do with the podcast as well, to just offer a little taste of something that does happen at the retreat, which is you meet people and you have a chat with them about how they see the work, and it feels so nice and cozy. So I think this is a great way to end with those intentions of seeing each other at the retreats and diving into that energy. I want to thank you so much for opening up. I think this is going to be such a great episode for a lot of people that are newer to the work and are wondering if it's normal, if